I've been building a camper van, and it's a really tiny space, so I'm thinking I want to make an outdoor kitchen in the back door area. I wanted to do something special with the counter, and my sister is an epoxy pro, so I'm going to cut up some old olive wood that we can use to make this counter. Epoxy takes a long time to dry, so she'll be getting started on the initial pour while I build the cabinet to save time.
Well, this part of the table is done. We have to do a really thin layer first to secure all of these pieces in place. If you put too much resin in there at once, then it all starts floating up to the top. And we don't want that. We want these to stay down at the bottom where they're at. That's going to cure for like 6 to 8 hours, and then we're going to do the next layer on top of that. That's what it's looking like so far, dude.
All right, while that dries, I'm gonna get started on the kitchen cabinet carcass. I'm gonna head to my sister's place and add another layer to that countertop. While that hardens, I'm getting back to the workshop to put the cabinet together. all the polyurethane dries on my cabinet, I'm heading back to my sister's house to work on the next steps with the counter. So it's been a little while since my sister poured the epoxy into this table, but it's finally dry and hard enough that we can start working on it. It looks pretty good, but the problem is that there's a lot of peaks and valleys and stuff because all the wood was different levels, and this is a little bit too tall for us to run through a planer. So what we're going to do is set up a router sled to take everything down to the same level. Now that the counter is cut to its final dimensions, I'm heading back to my sister's house one last time to put on the final sealing coat of epoxy. That's looking pretty good. Now I'll finish the rest of the cabinet and start that dreaded plumbing process while that counter hardens for the last time. When I fired up the pump for the first time, everything was leaking, like it was pouring out of this hose lead, and I was trying to figure out why. And I think it's literally just a bad connection. I'm not really sure how to crimp these or anything, so I ended up just snipping this end and then just running the hose straight into a barb, and that actually worked out fine. Funny thing is that I had all of these little adapters and stuff connected to here, and I thought that all of my stuff was gonna leak, but it didn't leak. It just came from this. The other side that had the same connection is a lot stronger, and this one kind of like moves around a little bit. So I don't really know anything about plumbing. I'm not really sure why this happened exactly. I don't know if this was my fault or if it just came like this and it's not supposed to be like that, but it's all good. Everything's working. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean everything out and then start working on the drawers, and then this kitchen's gonna be done. Unfortunately, where I decided to put the electric stove, it can't actually slide out because the doors don't rotate enough for it to have enough room. So I'm gonna have to make a few quick modifications to this so that I can have it slide out from the front, and then I'll just put the stove on top of the counter and I'll lose a little bit of counter space. The wood glue I've been using recently is really strong, so it's gonna be pretty hard to pry this panel off. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my problem solver to solve this problem. With everything all together, it's finally time to see what it all looks like in the van. Well, let me go ahead and show you this kitchen now that I finally have it in here. So it's in there underneath where the bed is right now, but once you're ready to use it, all you got to do is pull it out. It's basically just a giant drawer. On top, we have a little bit of counter space right here. I'm going to be adding some more counter space over on this side that we'll be able to use a little bit later on, but that's going to be for another video. The counter over here came out pretty great. We used some olive wood. When you look deep into it, you can actually see the depth of each piece of wood, and it kind of looks like you're looking at it from a bird's eye view on some different type of planet or something like that. On top, the first thing you see is the sink that's flush down there, so it'll fit inside the drawer. But when you open it up, you just pick up this faucet piece. When the water comes through here, it goes into the drain, and then when you want to use it, you open this up, and there's just a tube that's sitting in here, and there's a hole on the inside of here, and when you stick this in, then it comes out the bottom. And then you have two options with this down here. Option one, you can just leave it here and let the water just go onto the ground if you're in a safe area to do so. Or the second option is you can grab a water jug, which I happen to have one right here in the back seat of the van, and you can use this as a gray water tank. Stick this tube right in here, and then you can dump that whenever you're at your earliest convenience. I just didn't want to put any fixed gray water inside of this because then it would be a little bit too heavy. I wanted to keep it as lightweight as possible, so I kept it separate. Then you'll notice right here there's a quick connector, so you can grab your little hose that I stuck in here, and then you just plug this right in, and when that's plugged in, then you have an outdoor shower. You need to hose off your boots, spray down your dog, do whatever you're gonna do with this. And you can use this obviously without pulling the kitchen out as well. Over here, this is where I put my utensils and plates because I wanted to have a specific spot to put them, because every time I have a van, these things are just everywhere. So I wanted to make an organized system with it so I can just reach over here and grab these. And I also have these pretty cool sporks. This is my favorite part. They just have a spoon on one side and a fork on the other side, but that's just really quick access to that. Then right over here, this is a skinny storage drawer. We have a wider storage drawer right here. The reason why this plug is here is so that I can use the cooktop. So inside of this compartment right here, if I pop this open, this is just a false wall. And then you can pull out this induction cooktop, which you can sit right there. And this plugs in right into this spot right here. I made this cabinet the same size as one of the propane butane cookers. I can use this, but if I'm low on power, I can switch this out with the propane cooker so I don't have to worry about this. So that's pretty much it. I know it seems like there's a lot going on here, but this is really just a simple box with some bootleg plumbing running to it. If you want to see more cool epoxy art related stuff just like this, then you can follow my sister's YouTube channel. She's starting it up right now. I'm trying to throw her a bone. So if you guys want to go check that out, then you might see me in there from time to time. But yeah, that's all I got for you guys. That link will be in the description. See you later. I'm out. I'm walking off the set. I'm walking off the set. The set's not coming. I'm walking off the set. All right, okay, I'm just gonna get back in the van and go home.